Yeah, roasting. Anyway, welcome everybody to another episode of Westpark Lives. Absolutely delighted to have my good pal here with me, Shirley McDonald. Shirley, how are you?
Great, Liam. How are you?
How did you get here? You came straight from up, did you?
I did. Yeah.
How was traffic?
Mental.
Mental, isn't it?
Mental.
Traffic to the left, traffic to the right. There's no moving anymore.
No.
You literally have to add, like, you can look at your Google Maps and go, right, another 10 minutes on top of it. No matter where you're going. That's if you don't know where you're going. If you know where you're going, you can't be guided.
Yeah.
Where we're in. Anyway, I'm waxing on. I'm delighted to have you on here today. I want to go straight into it. As I say, I know you and I know your background to a degree, but I've done a bit of homework as well, as I told you. You're a postgrad honours in business studies.
Yeah.
You're membership director in Engineers Ireland.
That's right, yeah.
Which, if not, it's the biggest, or if not the biggest,
professional body in the country.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
23,000.
So we've 30,000 members,
Right.
About 21,000
Just dropped 3,000 there now, you know.
Just dropped 3,000, but there goes my targets.
Love it, positive.
But,
it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. So we have 21,000 full members and we've about 8,500, 9,000 student members. So the future pipeline of the engineering
You
profession.
have the future as well. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But as I said, I've done my homework, and there's a gold medal in there somewhere. Because I looked up. Yeah. Do you want to tell me, or will I tell you?
Yeah. Well, I suppose when I left school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, college wasn't for me at the time.
Yeah.
And did a few different things and got the opportunity to join Engineers Ireland 31 years ago now. And
you're only a baby.
Only a baby in my communion dress when I went for the interview. But the Director General at the time saw some potential and said, look, I want to support you to go and do a course in college. So I started off doing a certificate in business at night in Tala IT, just across the road. Went on, did the diploma, and then did the degree. So 6 years at night for the whole lot. And then won the gold medal for the highest grades in the full-time or part-time.
In the entire year, all the course.
For that programme.
Huge.
Yeah.
Chest to brain here.
Well, I wouldn't say that. It was a lot of hard work, but...
well, that's how you get there.
Yeah.
And as you said, which I think is very inspiring, you didn't know what you wanted to do when you left. No. There's so many of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to go from that to...
Well, look, I suppose it's just, when you leave school at 17, 18, back then there wasn't kind of the career guidance that there is now that in the schools.
Yeah.
There isn't that outreach by different professions into the schools to kind of really spur an interest in
like
going
what you guys are doing now.
Like something like what our STEPS team do, going and reaching out to second level and primary school kids to foster an interest in engineering and STEM subjects.
Yeah, and of course you had to draw from that experience because you didn't know what you wanted to do. So you're going, well, hang on, I've been there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to present to people, here's what I do now, and that might be of interest to others and might spark something. But before I go any further now, this might sound like a silly question, but because engineering is in absolutely everything. The chair we're sitting on, you're eating a packet of crisps, everything.
You're recording us today,
recording
your
the
phone.
Voice, all engineering.
Yeah.
But could you, for me, the Dumbo here, define what an engineer is? Is that possible?
So I was at an event 2 weeks ago, and a friend of mine who's an engineer actually put it really, really well.
Yeah.
Engineers look at problems and come up with a solution.
Right.
So whether that's tackling the climate crisis, the energy crisis, whether it's looking at this building across the road that's going to be absolutely huge. I don't know if it's apartments or whatever. The structural engineering, that'll be all fitted out by mechanical and electrical engineers to get the utilities and the services into it.
Everything.
Clean water, everything is done by engineers and technicians.
And they come under different engineers for different disciplines.
Yeah, so, you've the traditional, what people might think of an engineer with a hard hat and a high-vis jacket, working on a road or working on a building, right the way through to biomedical engineers who are developing stents, developing drugs.
Hugely important.
Hugely important.
It needs to be engineered in an appropriate manner. And that, of course, would also need, which we'll come to, some form of quality assurance. Is that
Yeah.
what that's the area you guys work in?
We would have quality assurance of engineering programs in
Yeah.
third level colleges. So we would go and accredit engineering programs to make sure that they meet our own learning outcomes. And those learning outcomes are actually internationally recognised. So if
Very
you
important.
do an engineering qualification that's accredited by Engineers Ireland, that's recognised in
Across the
a
board.
lot of countries around the world.
I want to come back to that because I know you've done a bit of work there in terms of travelling on behalf of that. But just back to basics. You're from the area.
I am.
You're a Westpark
From Tala.
original.
I was in the original Westpark over the bowling alley.
Yeah.
100 years ago now at this stage.
Again, your community address only available.
Yeah. And I suppose I joined Westpark by accident.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, who worked in Ibiza for most of her 20s for the summer season,
What a life.
would come home. Hard work, but yeah. But she came home one winter and joined Westpark for 3 months and then got a job in Germany. So she said, well, it's paid for now. Do you want to do it? I had no interest in fitness, no interest in anything like that. Nearly had a heart attack after doing 5 minutes on the cross trainer on the first day, but kind of just persevered at it. And
But I want to come to that aspect again. But you'd no interest in fitness in terms of you're growing up. You went to your family are Tala. You went to school, of course, in Tala. Did you do what school was that?
I went to St. Aidan's Secondary
Right.
School in Brookfield.
Yeah.
So that was a brand new school. There was only 1 year ahead of us because we moved out to Tala when Tala was mostly fields.
And fields. I
And,
remember it well. Guys, if you've never been, you don't know what we're talking about.
So we were in
fields.
Jobestown. So and Drumcar Avenue, where we lived and where I grew up, was the last row of houses. So then we moved. My mum and dad moved, bought a house up in the Selby, which seemed like miles away, which is only stone's throw up the road. And I bought a house there as well, so still there.
You're still there. And during that time in Aidan's and onward, before Westpark, did you obviously PE, had you any particular sport you liked? You were just tipping around.
No, just tipped around.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said, oh, well, we played basketball at school. I thought, that was grand, or did a bit of badminton in one of the PE classes. But I wasn't. I just wasn't into it.
So then you went from Aidan's, you didn't know what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you went on, you done your secretarial course.
Yeah.
And you done your degree at night.
At night, 6 years at night.
While working.
Yeah.
Did they send you there? Sorry, did I pick you up right?
They supported me to go.
You must have been.
Yeah.
You must have been good at what you're doing.
Well, I was very, very lucky at the time,
I don't know about that now.
No.
Good people, they're very hard to find. I remember talking to you there 2 weeks ago about your job because you were very busy. I think it was 3 weeks ago was
Engineers Week.
Engineers Week.
Yeah.
And the week before that was the ploughing championships, was that right?
Oh, no, but we're kind of in planning for ploughing for
right.
September, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, September coming?
Yes, so ploughing is September every year.
All right, so what was the year we're at last?
It was Engineers Week.
Engineers Week, sorry.
Yeah.
And you were all over the country.
So Engineers Week, it's an outreach program again for primary and secondary schools to engage with children and to try and reach children to, as I said, foster that interest in STEM education. So we actually had a presentation today at our all-team meeting, and the stats have come back to say we reached over 100,000 school kids over the course of the week. There was over 2,000 events and hundreds and hundreds of volunteers all over the country engaging with kids over the course of the week.
It just occurred to me, sorry to throw that at you, because you're talking to young minds that are very easily influenced, such a positive thing. And I'm just wondering, is there a ratio male to female, adult engineers, people who are in your organisation? Would you have is that a hard question?
It's not a hard question. It's the ratio is very low. It is, and it's a tough nut to crack. It's something that we've been trying to do for a long time, but we're not unique in that. That's, you see that in an awful lot of our peer institutions around the world as well.
That's That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But obviously what you're doing there definitely is going to have an impact, because
Yeah.
coming as a woman to talk to these groups, young men and young women, they're looking up and they're saying, here, look, I've been there, I've done it, and here's what we promote.
Yeah. And we don't, like, I mean, the team in Engineers Ireland wouldn't necessarily be the people going out to talk to these kids. It's the young graduates. It's the people that don't look 50-year-olds or the whatever, you know.
You can point at me, but certainly not you.
And you know that's what we're actually, our STEPS team is going to launch a program called An Engineer Like Me, where we have young female graduates talking to
brilliant.
the kids.
That's brilliant. That's going to bring a lot of balance to the industry. So is that planning and looking forward on a day-to-day basis? You have a team. You manage a team. 8, is it?
I have 6 people in my team.
People, right.
6 people in my team. So my team look after membership growth, membership engagement across the country. Membership growth, membership engagement, and then we would run different events in coordination with other teams, just to really, I suppose, give the members the opportunity to engage, to network, to develop their skills, and retain their membership.
What time does your day start at? What you're at there?
I'm in the office. It probably starts at 7:30, just because I want to get into the office and not be sitting in traffic for an hour and a half.
Which is, you could be getting up at 4 in the morning. You're still in traffic these days.
You kind of get lucky enough. But you know, you could do 9 to 5 for a week. Next week I have a dinner Friday night. I have a black tie dinner the following week. So
the other end of the country.
The black tie dinner is in Dublin, but 2 weeks ago I had one in Belfast.
Yeah.
Or you could be that day that I had the dinner in Belfast. That morning I was in jeans and a t-shirt for Engineers Week in Coleraine, watching Scientific Sue give a big event about science and experiments to primary schools. So it's there's not one day that's the same.
But you have to travel with your job too. You've been to India, you've been to the States, I believe, haven't you?
I was in India last year, India and Hong Kong last year, and Taiwan the year before.
So that's reaching out and talking to groups that have the same level of quality assurance, or
so we're part of what's called the International Engineering Alliance. And that's a group of jurisdictions all around the world that are all members of different agreements and different educational accords. So that's where our Engineers Ireland accredited programs are recognised by any signatory to the Washington Accord or Dublin or Sydney Accord. And those meetings then that happen once a year is where we all get together and kind of share best practice. You know, we all have to produce annual reports. We get reviewed every 6 years to make sure that our standards are still
We're talking building things and developing, very important.
So that all of those happen over the course of 1 week in a different location around the world. So any jurisdiction can opt to host. So actually Engineers Ireland were due to host in 2021, which didn't happen because we were in COVID. So in 2022, the first time when kind of global travel opened up, we ran a smaller event in Killarney for a week in October 2022. So we themed it Reconnecting Global Engineering, and we had 120 people from about 22 different countries come to Killarney for a week in October.
Wow.
And
a lot of management.
It was great, but it was fantastic.
And I know you do a lot of driving with your job.
I do,
Would you have a number of miles you do a week on average, or would 1 week be more?
It depends on what's on.
But there's a lot.
There is a lot,
I love doing a bit of business in the car. I love having the phone on.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're concentrating on the road. You have your Bluetooth on. You get a lot done. Particularly if you're stuck in traffic, it's like, okay, this time hasn't gone to waste. Do you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a great opportunity to check in with the team if I haven't seen them, or if they've been on the road or I've been on the road. That we have that quick catch up over the phone.
And I even love me little stop off somewhere for my coffee. I love it.
Yeah.
Those little things get you from A to B, particularly if things are stressful. And there has to be, you love your job, I get that, I sense that. But there has to be some stressful times.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And that's where, would you say, because I want to come to the gym and I want to come to your program because you didn't do exercise, you didn't, you joined by default. There's a lot of people here, you'd be surprised at some of them who joined by default. Do you find your program, before we go into it, and your training here, do you find that helps?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
It's known, exercise is known to help.
Yeah, no, and people laugh at me going, oh, I haven't seen you in ages. And then they see me for 3 weeks, 3 times a week. And then I might be gone again for a week or two. But yeah, look, I think Westpark is fantastic for just being able to come in, even if you only have an hour. Even if you only have 45 minutes to do cardio kickboxing.
Whose class is that now?
Oh, I don't know.
Some guy.
Even if I have to take an early lunch someday on a Friday.
We're changing the name of this total body workout class, you know.
But yeah, no, it's great to come in, and I think if I look back on the time that I've spent in Westpark, I think what's really kept me here, apart from the fitness and really getting into the classes, because that's what I love the classes, it's actually the people that I've met along the way and the friends that I've made. Yeah. And I think they keep you as well, you know?
So important. But in terms of holistic, total body fitness, to just come and be black and white and try to use exercise only, you know, to leave your job and try then to come in and just, okay, I've done my exercise, now you go home. We're social creatures. You've said it. And this place, I found it, that's why I like to be here. We've chatted about this before. There's this kind of energy. I think it's the people together and how it's run. That you're able to have a quick chat with somebody. You're not rushing from A to B. There's a warmth here, isn't it?
There is. There's 100%, and it's definitely down to the staff, the
100%.
current and the past staff. You know,
100%.
And I listened to Kevin's podcast. You know, your man.
Your man. That Kevin Doyle, is that his name?
But he said something that was really relevant. That it's the cups of coffees and the little groups that you meet is really important. Yeah. And you could say that it is as important as, you know, coming in and just doing your workout and going, you know. And like Kevin said, he's been to weddings, funerals, birthdays, like exactly the same with us. Yeah. You know, and you know, people are so dedicated here, and they are your friends. He
said to me, 100%. When I was interviewing, he was the first interview, and he wasn't the only one I wanted to interview. And I'll tell you, there's a mutual friend of ours that I wanted to interview as well. Kevin being the manager, I was curious. You've heard the interview. I really was curious. So that made a great podcast. We had a brief chat beforehand, a couple of brief chats. So knowledgeable about the industry. There's more there. I'd love to get him and say, right, I'd love to talk about this. There's a wealth of knowledge which he's gathered over the years, but it's definitely a cascading effect. There's a theme there. And the other person, and this is your interview, but I know she's a friend of yours, would have been Liz. Yeah. And she's going to kill me for saying this. I want to get her on this, and no joy yet. Haven't hooked her.
Well, like, I mean, Lizzie is a prime example of how you can actually make solid friends. She's somebody that you can go to and ask her advice of, whether that's your fitness, whether it's personal life, whether it's work, and vice versa. But also, like, you know, look now, she's doing her cancer thing, and she's making her presentation next week. Yeah. Like, she's constantly striving to improve, and she's only doing that for the members. It's not for
She's
herself.
Very unique, and here's what happened. Here's what can happen, as I'm sure you know. When you normalise what you're really good at, and that's what we should do. We normalise it, and Liz has normalised it. Sometimes you forget. I think sometimes she forgets, like, the help she gave me in setting up the classes. That when I was setting up one of the classes there a while ago, first place I went to was, do you think this will work? If she'd have said, she'd never say no, but she'd have been kind of, I'd have really thought about it. Yeah. If she says, yes, Liam, I think this will work, you kind of know, okay, I can put some time into this. She knows so much. She's been great help to me also. Yeah. And that is part, and all of the guys have. I've had nothing but help here. And it's like a promo now for Westpark. And this is about you. So
Well, it's Westpark Lives.
You're live,
Yeah.
right? What is your program here? I know I see it in my class and I love having it.
Yeah.
But do you have a set program? Do you?
No, I don't. I've had programs over the years, but I actually like the social aspect of the class.
Yeah.
That's what I get a buzz out of.
Right.
I don't get a buzz out of waiting to go and use that machine when somebody else has finished on it because I need to do 10 sets or reps on that or whatever. I actually like to come in, maybe warm up on the cross trainer or whatever it's called now, and go in, do a class, do 2 classes.
Yeah.
You kind of, especially say the likes of body pump, your total body fitness, body balance, because you get energy from the other people that are there as well.
We're social creatures.
Yeah, and that's what I love. And you know, I've been very lucky to have the experience of heading off with Lizzie and Rail Jean and Joanna with the Les Mills experiences. And
what's that like?
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Happy people, big smiley heads, all dancing and jumping. I've seen
smiley heads, going around, doing all the classes. Yeah. You know, it's like, I think I might have said this to you before. When we went to London the last time, a couple of years ago, which was our last trip, we met a couple of the guys who were doing cameras, the cameramen for the experiences, because Les Mills records all those events. And he was saying, God, he said, I didn't know what it was before when they were telling us what we're going to be recording. He says, but I get it now. It's just like a cult, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
That can happen when everybody's enjoying the same thing. And they basically like the class, they like the program. But you do tell people where they're headed. You're always happy. You're always happy to. It's always great to see you, because even if you're not in great form, you're not someone that takes their meals out. And others, people in general don't in this place. But diet-wise, then you must have a good healthy diet. If you're not using exercise, you're using it for social, but you're using it for your health as well. You're getting your cardio.
Yeah.
Diet.
Oh.
Are you the 80-20 guy, or are you 70-30?
Well, I might be 70-30.
That's not too bad.
40.
I don't know about that now.
It depends, you know. It's when you're on the road, it's kind of harder. You know, it is harder. But look, you just don't beat yourself up either. Like, you know, life is too short.
Would you have a favourite snack then? Because I've told you, mine. It's not the muffin anymore. The guys have said it those times. There's always a bit of chocolate. Yeah. There's always a coffee just to get me from one thing to another. If it's in the car or if it's to the next class.
My downfall are crisps.
Yeah. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. All types.
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about we eat the whole bag, I don't mean those little bags that we get as kids. The big bags you get now in Tesco and Dunnes.
But sure, half of them are full of air anyway.
Oh yes, they are.
It's all right.
You make me laugh. I always ask people, if I forgot something, Shirley, I don't know if I have. I do like to ask people towards the end their favourite book. I'm old school. Some people look at me and I say book. I used to be an avid reader.
Yeah.
Not so much now. Or their favourite movie, which now is kind of podcasts, or Netflix series, which they binge watch. Have you faves? Have you, music-wise, podcasts, books?
Well, podcasts, obviously, Westpark Lives is the...
Paid.
You know?
She knows. I just won't go out loud.
I'm not the biggest podcast person now. I'm more, if I'm driving and I'm not on the phone, it's kind of just different Spotify playlists, whether it's kind of musicals, rock, traditional. I have a big cross the board taste. Yeah. And I do like reading. I don't read as much as I used to.
No, I don't know why I don't.
But I do like to read.
I used to, have you any book that sticks out that you'd recommend?
The book, one of my favourite books for the last few years was a book called I Am Pilgrim by Terry Hayes.
Right.
So it's a big. I think there's about 800 pages in it, but it's one of those. It's fiction.
Right.
But it's a real page turner. Like literally,
Okay.
you'll just get stuck into it.
I'm going to make a note of that.
And I've read a lot of John Connolly. He's an Irish author.
Yeah.
So he does a series called with Charlie Parker. He's a detective, but it has a bit of the occult in it as well. Right. So it's really good once you get into it.
Not too light, but not too heavy that you can't.
Not too heavy.
Yeah.
But I don't really read non-fiction. I think there's you do enough during the day. I think reading is kind of like the gym. You actually want it to switch off as opposed to...
It needs to be a balance. Like, I'm not going to name the famous books because people go, I love them, but I was given one. I used to just read heavy stuff. Not negative stuff, just like psychology books and that kind of thing. And so then on holidays there, I was given a very light novel that's very bestseller. And I was going, really?
Wasn't it Julie Cooper?
No, was it? No, it wasn't Julie Cooper. She would have been better than this. These are bestsellers. And he walked in the room and he stood and turned a cigarette. You know, this kind of stuff. And the person that gave him, he swore by it, and I'm going, please. So I had to pretend I read it. So I just read to the end, that was a great plot. But I don't read like I used to at all. And music and books, I think we've covered nearly everything.
Probably, yeah.
It's a brilliant interview. Really enjoyed it, Shirley. It's like a chat we usually have downstairs having coffee. I better turn this off because if I don't, we'll say something. Really thanks to Shirley, folks, and thanks again for listening. Look forward to this one's coming out very shortly and to our next episode, Westpark Lives, here in your gym for life. Cheers, guys. And we'll just sit here now for a while like this, and then I'll come off.